Welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we are grabbing the blueprints and we're looking at what seemed like, just another night of Raw, an anniversary celebration. But if you're really paying attention, that show was so much more. It felt like the quiet reveal of WWE's entire long-term plan for WrestleMania.
It absolutely was. I mean, this was not just a series of, isolated events happening. What we saw was a collision point. All these major strategies, title changes, delayed returns, injury updates, even personal rumors, it all got activated at once.
Okay, let's unpack that. Our mission here is to really analyze the architecture behind these moments that on the surface might look random. We want to show you exactly how major titles are being redefined and how absences, both from injury and ones that are calculated, are being weaponized for these huge future payoffs.
Right. We're getting into the why.
Yeah, we're moving past just the action to see the chess moves.
And understanding why it all happened on this one night, that's the knowledge shortcut. That's how you understand the next 3 months of wrestling's biggest season.
So let's start with the gold. The women's tag team title switch. It felt, a bit sudden, but our sources are saying this was pure strategy. The titles moving to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Yes, and what's so fascinating here is how the importance of these titles just changed overnight. It's completely redefined by the caliber of the champions.
How so?
You're taking two singles-level undisputed main event stars, Rhea and Io, and you're putting them together. That move doesn't just elevate the belts, it instantly redraws the entire division's hierarchy.
But isn't there a risk there? I mean, you're using two key women who could easily be headlining on their own just to boost a secondary title. Is that risk really worth it right now?
I think it is because it's such efficient booking. It lines up perfectly with the philosophy we've seen from, the current regime, making secondary titles feel must-see.
Right.
They're being treated protected with the same kind of gravity as world titles. When someone like Rhea Ripley holds a belt, every single opponent just looks more credible by being in the ring with her.
So you're maximizing the value of your mid-card feuds, basically overnight.
Exactly. And that means this has to be more than just a short-term reign, right? To have them on two high-profile competitors like this.
That's the implication.
Yeah, it has to be. Subtly, this move is signaling a larger reset for the whole women's division. They're positioning these titles for, long-term significance. So when Ripley and Sky eventually do drop the belts, the next champions inherit all that heightened importance. The full consequences, we're going to see that play out on the road to WrestleMania. It's a foundational move.
Foundational versus filler. That's the key distinction. Okay, so if we're talking strategy, let's shift from who showed up and took the gold to someone really important who was conspicuously absent, and why that no-show carried so much more weight than an appearance ever could have. I'm talking about Chris Jericho.
The disappointment from the fans was, you could feel it. It really exposed that classic tension in booking, expectation versus reality.
Fans were ready for it. They had prepped themselves for that huge nostalgia pop. That's what anniversary shows are for.
And they got silence.
Which, from a booking perspective, feels like a squandered moment, doesn't it? You have the perfect crowd, the perfect setting. Why not pull the trigger?
Well, everything we're seeing suggests the non-appearance was absolutely strategic. The rationale, or at least the rumor, is that it was a pure calculation of value. WWE is saving Jericho's return for something much bigger, a genuine headline-stealing moment.
So they didn't want to waste it.
Exactly. They saw a simple nostalgia pop, even on a big anniversary show, as a waste.
That's where it gets complex, though. You've got this long-term plan clashing with what the fans want right now. What's the real strategic difference between a nostalgia pop and a headline moment?
The difference is months of pay-per-view value. A pop on Raw gives you, a momentary ratings spike, short-term gratification.
Yep.
But a Royal Rumble return, that's a foundational piece. It sets up your WrestleMania opponent, it drives network subscriptions, and it fuels months of high-value buys. They want to maximize that return.
But playing that long game is a huge gamble, isn't it? If the payoff at the Rumble isn't perfect, the audience might feel like they were manipulated. You could damage that trust.
It is a gamble. But the Royal Rumble is designed for exactly that kind of high-stakes surprise. It's unpredictable. And that environment just maximizes the emotional impact. They're betting all that anticipation they built will translate into a massive payoff that makes the wait worth it.
Right. Okay, so from a calculated absence to a genuine one, let's look at Dominic Mysterio's injury, because that has forced a complete, complex rewrite for his whole stable.
And the updates on his absence were handled in two very different ways. And that tells us they're building two separate stories around one real event.
First, we saw Liv Morgan give an update. Her delivery was noticeably emotional. It softened everything, made it feel temporary.
Right, it was designed to keep the audience sympathetic, kept the narrative light.
But then,
But then Finn Balor gave a later update, and he used much heavier language, more serious. That instantly raised alarms. It shifted the whole thing from a minor speed bump to a major problem for the group.
so what are the actual facts here that they're building on?
Thankfully, no surgery is required, but he is going to be out for a lengthy period. And the key thing is, this isn't just a short break, it's a storyline-changing development. This injury forces new dynamics, new rivalries, new relationships. Management loves when real life forces their hand like this because it creates new stories organically.
And his long-term absence is the perfect bridge, really, to the most talked about personal rumor that's circulating online. His removal from the story created a vacuum.
And we are talking about the speculation around Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. This is where the company just leans into the meta-narrative. The line between reality and storyline gets blurry on purpose.
And we have to be crystal clear on this. This is all fan-driven observation. It's interpretation based on what people are seeing, not confirmed fact from the company.
100%.
So what is the visual evidence that fans are latching onto so hard? What's fueling this?
It's those on-camera and backstage moments. Specifically, it's the affectionate body language between the two of them that really spark the online discussion. It's visual evidence that lets fans create their own narrative, and WWE just strategically lets that happen. They encourage it.
And the timing is so critical for this speculation, isn't it?
It's everything. Dominic is gone for an extended period. That inherently shifts the dynamics on screen and, behind the scenes. So any new interaction, any new pairing, any sign of chemistry, it gets magnified tenfold because a foundational piece of the story is suddenly gone.
The absence of one character directly enabled the speculation around two others.
It's mysterious, it's intriguing, and honestly, it's classic WWE. They thrive on that ambiguity to keep people guessing and talking. It's essential fuel.
Absolutely. You just have to think back to, like, the Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio custody angle. Extreme fiction built on personal drama, and it proves fans will always lean into that kind of stuff.
Even when they know they're being played with.
Right. Speaking of necessary fuel, let's transition from the personal rumors to the final major point. Calculated championship chaos, starting with Maxxine Dupri's title loss.
That loss felt so sudden, almost abrupt, but if you look at the timeline, it was almost certainly calculated. This brings up the placeholder theory in modern booking.
Okay, so unpack that for us. What is the ultimate purpose of a placeholder reign?
The idea is that Maxine's reign was never meant to be the end goal. It served a very specific purpose. It was maybe to normalize a newer championship to the main roster audience. It gives the title a quick, memorable moment, gets it established, and then she drops it to clear the path for the real high-stakes program they have planned.
So her reign was just to enable the next story. It wasn't the destination.
Exactly. And that next story is all about Becky Lynch. She has adopted this completely new, fascinating edge.
She really has.
She's become more erratic, confrontational, constantly justifying herself. She's operating in this morally gray area where her actions and her words just don't match up. It's incredible character work.
So if you had to explain the psychological trick they're playing on the audience, what is the key irony here?
The irony is the intentional friction. Becky Lynch is, at the same time, accusing everyone else of cheating and controversy, playing the righteous hero, while she is actively benefiting from these questionable, borderline heel tactics herself.
It forces the audience to question her.
It does, and that controversy is necessary fuel. You can't have a big WrestleMania feud without that kind of audience division.
And everything points to this controversial reign, tying directly into WrestleMania season.
Yep.
It feels like the groundwork for a huge collision.
The blueprint is so clear. The strategy is to build a payoff that is all about ego, controversy, and unfinished business. You take the momentum of a champion who is basically a hypocrite, and you pit her against the explosive, highly anticipated return of someone like AEW. That clash, built purely on moral conflict. That's the ultimate goal of this whole reign.
So, as we tie all these threads together, what's the final takeaway? We've seen titles being elevated, big returns being delayed for maximum value, real injuries reshaping stories, and rumors adding fuel to the fire.
If you connect it all, these are all definitive signs that WWE is intentionally tightening the dramatic pressure. They're architecting these complex, layered stories. Nothing on that one episode of Raw was wasted motion. Every single moment was a vital building block, all designed to feed the beast that is the road to WrestleMania.
Which brings up a really important question for you, the listener. Considering all this chaos, all this strategic risk, from the tag titles to Jericho being held back to Becky's moral decline, which of these quiet reveals do you think will erupt into the biggest, most chaotic headline come WrestleMania? That's something to mull over as we all watch to see how the architects proceed with their design.